Tonight from UTA's Maverick Stadium, it's the District 4-6A Game of the Week, the 5-1 Arlington Colts and the 5-1 Martin Warriors. Hello again, everyone. John Nelson alongside Jim Staples. The 36th meeting between these two. The Colts have the edge, but Jim, it's all about district. Martin 3-0, the Colts a game back at 2-1.
Yeah, and this is not a must-win for Arlington, but I think it's a very important win to get back on their winning ways. They had a disappointing loss last week, and you're right, positioning for the district is what it's all about here going forward.
Arlington had their 16-game winning streak snapped last week, losing to Bowie 21-20. Martin blasting Sam Houston 64-7. But, Jim, I have an idea we'll see a lot of points scored tonight. The Colts come in averaging almost 48. We know that Martin can score averaging 44.
Yeah, they both have got high-powered offenses and stingy defenses, but, you know, that's kind of on the paper. How will it play out? I'm not sure, John, but it's going to be an exciting, fun game. I think the atmosphere speaks for itself.
Martin has won 8 of the last 10 games in this series. Colts winning the contest here last year. Well, as we approach kickoff, a very special ceremony taking place at midfield as the captains from Martin and Arlington approach midfield for the coin toss. Proud to honor a true community hero, Grand Prairie Police Officer A.J. Castaneda, who was killed in the line of duty in June of 2019. Please welcome some special guests, Executive Strippy Saxton and Sam Booker, who will present a framed jersey to Grand Prairie Police Chief Steve Dye, Arlington Police Chief Will Johnson, and the parents of Officer Castaneda. Please welcome Officer Castaneda's son Elijah, who is an honorary captain tonight. In fact, those donated jerseys on sale at the Martin Spirit Wear trailer. All proceeds will benefit Elijah Castaneda. The Arlington Colts and the Martin Warriors proud to sponsor and support our police departments and honored to spend an evening with the Castaneda family. Well, we're just a few minutes away from kickoff. Martin and Arlington back with a kickoff from Maverick Stadium right after this. And welcome back to UTA's Maverick Stadium with Jim Staples, our broadcast crew. I'm John Nelson. The Martin Warriors 13 consecutive years in the playoffs. The Arlington Colts, the defending district champions, they were 7-0 last year, advanced 2 rounds in postseason play. Martin last year just sneaking in a playoff spot at 5-2, and there are the Martin Warriors trying to go 4-0 in district for the first time since 2015. 30 seniors, 18 juniors, and 6 sophomores for head coach Bob Wager. Arlington Colts have 37 seniors, 48 juniors, or top heavy in juniors, and just 2 sophomores for head coach Scott Peach in his 17th year. Coach Wager in year number 15. Now, Jim, week 7 of the 2019 high school football season, some posturing, some positioning for the upcoming playoffs. This is huge tonight. It determines maybe some home field, some big school, small school, and what remains the final 3 weeks of the season.
Yeah, Martin wanting to get a little bit of separation, but, you know, it's just an absolutely perfect night for football. It's just absolutely gorgeous and an important game, as we talked about in the opening, for Martin to try to get a little separation and for Arlington to get back in the winning ways and try to solidify a playoff position.
A beautiful autumnal evening at 71 degrees at kickoff. The Arlington Colts will receive and defend the south goal to our right. Michael Young and Jahari Rogers back deep. Jahari, the Colt quarterback last year, but the University of Florida would like to see him as a cornerback, and Coach Peach accommodating, and he feels that's where Jahari's best position is, at corner. So we will see him at the cornerback spot. And set to kick off is Caleb Davidson, number 27. Davidson, the Martin Warriors in their road white with silver helmets, the Colts in home green. This one headed towards Michael Young. Over the shoulder catch at the 7, looking for an avenue, and is piled up at the 13. Colts averaging 47 points a game. The Martin defense much improved since last year. Martin giving up just 14 a game. And again, coming off that lopsided win over Sam Houston last week. And here's a look at the Arlington offense. Keep an eye on Charles Brown, B.J. Rogers, the main running back. Good receivers. The offensive line is huge, averaging 270. Chris Sims, your starting quarterback, a junior. And the Martin defense, one of their best tacklers, Ed Jones IV. Sims will scramble 15, and Sims stacked up at the 17, giving 4 yards. And the last man up for the Martin Warriors is Julian Johnson, number 42, the middle linebacker. And some back and forth chatter that draws a couple of flags.
Yeah,
referee tonight is Jim Davis.
Yeah, the intensity in this game is, as you can see early on, the importance of this game, and most likely offsetting penalties we will see, but this could set the tone for the rest of the night.
So the personal foul will cost the Arlington Colts yardage, half the distance to the goal from the spot of the foul.
Well, they didn't have good starting position to begin with. Now it's going to really back them up. We talked about how stingy both of these defenses are, and not the start that Arlington wanted, clearly.
Colts last week in that loss to Bowie had over 300 total yards. Chris Sims had 217 yards of passing. Charles Brown, the go-to receiver, had 4 catches for 118 yards. Sims from the 1, middle ball, deep ball, and overthrows his intended receiver Charles Brown, who drew double coverage, and one of them is Christian Traylor, number 10.
Great protection, though, and there was a little bit more wind before the game. It's died down some, but that may have been affected by the wind as it was overthrown by several yards.
The Colts against Martin here at UTA with a winning record of 16-8. And the play is being relayed from the near sidelines. Chris Sims, a junior. DJ Rogers, the running back, also a junior. You see number 13, Rodney Lucky, a senior, goes wide right. 3rd and 14 from the 8-yard line. Another deep ball, left side, and well overthrown, and a flag dropped at the near side. It was intended again for Charles Brown.
This could be a hold against the Martin defense on the near sideline. Not sure how that would have affected the pass. That's what it is.
Well, they needed 14 yards on 3rd down to collect the first down via the penalty. But, Jim, we can already see that Charles Brown is a marked man tonight.
Well, and the protection has been good, and that hold, I don't think, affected the ability to catch the football, but a big break that Arlington High needed.
A scrimmage from the 19-yard line, right between the hash marks. Here's a sweep. Lucky. And hog-tied at the 21. Over the top is Travell Johnson.
Well, nice job defensively at pursuit by Martin. It looked like there was an opportunity to get the edge, but closed down quickly. Little gain.
Couple of yards, 2nd down, 8. Colts are going to send Brown with Eli Lemons to the near side. 2nd and 8 from the 21, just underway. Our District 4-6A game of the week. Here's a bullet pass caught at the 24, and immediately tackled Leslie Odemara. Couple of 3 yards on that pass and run, closer to the 25. So giving 4. It'll set up 3rd down and needing 4.
Well, that is what Arlington really cost them, I think, the game last week, John, was their 3rd down conversions. Only 4 of 11 in that 21-20 loss against the Volunteers.
They've gained a 1st down courtesy of a penalty. They need 4 on 3rd down. They've got it. 30, 35, 40, and out to the 41-yard line. Chris Sims on the keeper.
Well, he really sold that handoff to the near side, and a great job offensively of that huge offensive line to create a huge hole on the right side.
Jacob Waller, Connor Kennedy, and Bo Wichter. Just shy of the 40. Draw play. And a marker dropped at the 43 as Rogers is dropped.
Yeah, that's going to be holding against the offensive line. I think Antonio Franco may be guilty.
McGowan and Croucher, two big bodies up front.
Well, the pace of the play has been slowed down by a slew of penalties early.
Colts opened up the year right here defeating Jesuit 38-28. Week 2, a homecoming win over Byron Nelson 38-14. Week 3, a win at Mesquite 48-35. So first and needing 20, and hounded, pounded, and grounded all the way back at the 20-yard line. Nowhere to go and nowhere to hide as Chris Sims didn't have any chance at all.
A coverage sack as Sims has really, for the most part, had good protection. This time it broke down. He just simply had no place to go with it. There were no short routes that he could kind of look away at. They were all deep routes and just not enough time to unload.
They need to get to the 49-yard line. It's second and 24-plus yards. Sims looking right. He will be flushed from the pocket and is bookended down at the 22. Driven to the turf hard and not much of a gain.
Yeah, really surprised. Arlington not running many intermediate routes at all. Of course, they had a long way to go, but you would think you'd try to take a little bit of that huge yardage off in chunks. Now another third and long situation.
They need close to 29 on third down. Sideline right, open field left for Chris Sims. Looking left, has a man, Charles Brown. He went up, but it's overthrown. Brown got open at about midfield, but the secondary closing quick, and now 10 seconds after the play, here's the flag.
Well, I don't know how.
Uncatchable.
Yeah, surely the side judge could not have heard anything that was said. I don't believe, but ball was not catchable, and it was well after the play had expired. Is this another one of those penalties that gives Arlington another life?
We'll see. It'll cost Martin 15 yards. The Colts collect the first down. After the play, some verbiage, I guess, kind of thrown about.
I didn't see anything contact made, but the official was probably 20 yards away from the tandem that they called on.
Line of scrimmage is the 37 on first down. Draw play over the right side to the 42-yard line, B.J. Rogers. B.J. last year had a little over 800 yards and 9 touchdowns.
Well, Coach Wager can't be pleased. He's let the Colts off the hook twice, one with a holding penalty and another one with an unsportsmanlike conduct.
2nd and 6. Chris Sims looking right and trying to get it into the hands of Rodney Lucky, a little overthrown. Lucky guarded by K.J. Polk Jr., number 2. It'll set up third down, still needing 6. Again, both teams 5-1 overall. Martin undefeated at 3-0. The Colts a game back at 2-1 in district. Just shy of the 42-yard line. On third down, they need to get to the 47. Here's Sims over the middle and hauled in and a first down. Eli Lemons.
Well, and it's not a very good spot either, but it is enough for first down. He was knocked back a couple of yards as he was hit in midair.
Lemons, a junior with a clutch catch. as he had to climb the ladder, but able to hang on to it at the 47-yard line. This drive started from the 13. Sims, here is the handoff to Lucky, and Lucky is bottled up. 3, now 4 Warriors there to arrest him.
Got us no luck so far trying to run wide against this Martin defense.
Carradine among 3 on the tackle. Second and needing just over 10. Need about 10.5 yards. Again, Sims from the spread. To the left is Rogers. Here's Sims. He will fire to the near side. It is caught and dropped. That would have been right at the mark needed for the first down.
Well, a delayed blitz by Martin and got just enough pressure on Sims to have him throw it maybe just a hair sooner than he wanted to. Now can Martin get off the field? They've not been able to do so on third down because of their own mistakes.
6:37 left in a scoreless first quarter. On 3rd and long from the 46. And the play clock winding down to 3. They probably will not have gotten the playoff as the Colts had to use one of their 3 timeouts here in the half.
You're a little surprised how open this Arlington offense has been. It's been really, they're a pass-oriented team anyway, but boy, they have really tried to air it out on a pretty consistent basis.
There's a look at the Dallas skyline, shimmering in the low-setting sun. Colts opened up district play right here, defeating Pascal, or Trimble Tech rather, at Farrington Field, and defeating Pascal and the loss last week to Bowie. There's the new Globe Life Field and AT&T Stadium.
We have a Honda Santa Fe, license number JRS 3093. Hyundai Santa Fe, license number JRS 3093. You have your lights on.
As we pick it up, 3rd and close to 11. Twin receivers cut on either side. Plenty of time, play clock showing 9. Sims with a long count, looking, deep ball right side. It is caught 30, 25, and down to the 22-yard line. Leslie Otamara. They convert on 3rd and long.
And Martin only rushed 3 that time, giving Sims plenty of protection and time to spot a receiver on the far sideline and move the chains once again for the Colts.
Oh, this Sims has a better arm week after week. 1st and 10 from the Martin 23. Sims, handoff up the middle, Rogers, and maybe a yard. Hit by number 18, Maurice Blackwell. Blackwell, the team's 2nd leading tackler with 65. 2nd down and 9. Julian Johnson is the team's leading tackler with 70. Here's Sims, and Sims dropped at the 26. Julian Johnson getting there.
Oh, and Ed Jones, that was just nice recognition, staying at home. Great size for a linebacker, 6 foot, 220 pounds.
Ed Jones, I understand that Louisiana Lafayette and the Naval Academy interested in the Martin senior linebacker. From the 26, it is 3rd. The Colts need 12. And penalty flags dropped on the far side by the linesman. The Colts may have been a little antsy And they were. Procedure. It'll cost them 5. Set up third and about 17.
Well, it's 4 down territory at this stage. You're not going to likely attempt a field goal, but they've had some pretty good success on 3rd down.
Line of scrimmage, the 31, still scoreless. 4:59 left in the initial period as you see Chris Sims and B.J. Rogers. High snap, Sims pulls it down, wants to throw and will go down. Number 44, Ernest Cooper IV. There to put the clamps on him.
And once again, Martin only rushing 3. This time they do get enough pressure on Sims to bring him down. And it's not 4 down territory because of the loss. Will set up a punting situation.
Well, the drive started from the Arlington 13. It ends at the Martin 37. And Cooper Hicks, a junior, to punt it away. Very high, end over end, will come out to the 20.
Yeah, not what he had in mind at all, trying to get to the far corner and play the field position game, but that sailed into the end zone.
All right, here's the Martin offense averaging 44 points a game, 232 yards of rushing, and 132 yards of passing. And here is the Martin offense. Nice running quarterback, Zach Mundell. Chris Kraft, the main running back. Mundell, the sophomore, took over midway last year. It just got better and better as Mundell goes. So goes the Martin offense. And here he is out to the 25.
We'll see that play a lot. Trips left, run left, and just try to get more blockers on defenders, and a good pickup on 1st down.
Jaden Miles and Chris Kraft are the running backs. Martin more of a running team. Officer Castaneda's name is on the back of every Martin jersey. Martin penalized.
Another personal foul, another big one. And I know there's a lot of emotion in this game, especially for Coach Wager in light of that tribute before the game, but his team is playing a little bit too free fall here now as another major penalty against him.
2nd and 17. Here's the toss right, Kraft, and Kraft struggling out to the 17-yard line. Chris Kraft comes in with 405 yards of rushing, 6 touchdowns.
Never seen so many 3rd and forever in this first half of the game. Mercy.
Cal Robinson, number 13, wide left. Martin's tight end is Jonathan Carter. He's caught 2 touchdown passes this year. Junior Zach Mundell from the shotgun. He will hand it off, searching for a lane, and it closes quickly at the 19-yard line. Kraft, tackled by Alex Reeder, just inserted this week. Number 68, Reeder on the stop.
Well, we see the 2 styles of offense. Martin primarily run, Arlington primarily pass. Full display here on their opening drives.
Eli Lemons back deep for the Colts. Lemons comes up, makes the catch at the 45, 50. Inside the 40 and runs out of bounds at the Martin 38-yard line.
He gets down to the Warriors' 38-yard line, and that's where the Colts have finished 1st and 10.
So good field position for Arlington's second possession with 2:15 to go in the liftoff quarter.
Yeah, they did what they wanted. They held Martin to 3 and out after a unsportsmanlike personal foul penalty, and now Great starting position with an offense that overall the first series did some pretty good stuff.
Again, the Colts had their 16-game winning streak stopped last week at Wildman, a 21-20 loss to Bowie from the Martin 38. Sims will throw. Full extension. Was it caught? It was not intended for Charles Brown. Had to come back for it. That'll set up second down.
Quick release by Sims, just a little bit too much to the outside as Brown couldn't come down in bounds with it.
Yeah, that game last year, Martin had the lead. I mean, that was a heck of a game last year. Colts finally won at 32-25, but it came down to the final 2 minutes. From the 38, second and long. Rogers runs into a stone wall, is grabbed by Maurice Blackwell. Was going nowhere. Blackwell able to twist around the guard and make the nice tackle.
This is one that you just can't predict because there's been some blowouts and there's been some close ones. You would think that this would fall into the latter category.
Leslie Otomara comes out, number 3. Colts facing third and needing 11. Trips to the right. Junior Chris Sims running to the right. Looking, throwing, caught at the 33 and upended. Hauled in by Eli Lemons, his third catch.
Yeah, if you can move the pocket and throw on the run and make a direct strike, that's a recipe for success, and Sims did it very nicely that time.
It'll set up fourth down and needing about a yard. And a timeout taken here as we pick it up, fourth down and needing a yard. Our statistician Wayne Shulock tells us this is Arlington's 22nd play, and it'll go over on downs. Something the Colts were not proficient at last week in the loss to Bowie. That's converting fourth down, and Martin has it.
Well, and the snap was a little bit high, may have thrown the timing off a little bit, but I was surprised that there was not going to be some type of play action and even passed the football, but had no chance of gaining first down yardage.
So Martin takes over their second possession. Here's the defense tonight for the Arlington Colts, giving up 18 points a game. Stokes has had a good year. Lopez, Salyer, the left side linebacker. Of course, Jahari Rogers, the cornerback. Just about set to go. We have an illegal substitution on the huddle break. It'll cost the Colts 5 yards. They had 12 men. And that brings it out to the 37 as first and 5. Mundell will scramble, penalty marker drop. Mundell draws a crowd at the 35, but where it was thrown, Jim, usually have some kind of a hold. Packard was back there, number 77.
Yeah, no doubt that's where the hold is. And again, because there was no check-off receiver, everybody was going deep routes and just no place to throw the football, tried to run with it.
A huge loss all the way back to the 27.
I must say that neither one of these teams are playing like first place in the district is at stake.
They need 15 yards. Both teams a little lethargic, a lot of penalties in the early goings. Chris Kraft will line up to the right of Zach Mundell. Blocking back Cal Robinson. Mundell. And Mundell is spun down. Number 51, Drake Stokes, there for the Colts.
Well, Mundell was trying to buy a little bit of time back there. He didn't explode to the line of scrimmage right away, and that hole never opened.
It sets up second and 14. May or may not get this play off. from the 28. They do get it off. Swing pass, a little behind and too tall for Chris Kraft, or was it a lateral? Very close to being a lateral.
Yeah, and I'm not sure any official was in a position to really call that one way or the other. I think it's ruled incomplete.
I believe this is Martin's 8th play from scrimmage, close to it. Play number 7 coming up. They have it at their own 28. 5 seconds left in the quarter. No score. Colts lead the all-time series 21 wins, 21 wins, 13 losses, and 1 tie down through the years. 3rd and needing 14. Mundell looking, sidearms it and intercepted and dropped at midfield. In and out of the hands of Damari Turner, and that is the end of the first quarter. Both teams will switch. Scoreless here at Maverick Stadium. Zach Mundell in punt formation on 4th and 14. The Colts send Eli Lemons back deep. Fair catch indicated at the 33. And that's where the Colts have it. Possession number 3. Well, Jim, there was a moment of silence tonight for former Arlington coach Bill Keefe, passed away last week. I know you have some history with Coach Keefe.
Yeah, a long history. He was at Carter Junior High when I was there, 7th, 8th, and 9th grade, coached me in football, and then he moved to Sam, 10th, 11th, and 12th. As he was over at Sam, he was my driver's ed teacher, and he wore my rear end out a few times as well.
Coach Peach pacing on the sidelines. The Colts have it at their own 33. He empties the backfield. Here's the jet sweep. The throw off for the sweep. Looking for Brown. Not there. As the Colts pull a little gadget play involving Jahari Rogers.
Well, Rogers just never got in a position to where he could set and throw. He had to throw on the run. Otherwise, that play had promise. May see it again.
Coach Wager now will watch Jahari Rogers at quarterback. A change here for the Colts. Rogers, the QB, running, reverses, in trouble, nowhere to go and nowhere to hide. Goes down at the 16. A quarterback change here in the second quarter for the Colts.
Yeah, I'm not really sure why. I don't know if there's anything wrong with Sims or not, just maybe a different look.
Jahari Rogers accounted for over 3,300 yards last year, 31 touchdown passes. The district player of the year. He was a homecoming king back in September. And now Sims back in at quarterback. It's 2nd and the field. Arlington needs to get to the 43. Sims looking, has time, loading up, throws to the near side and overthrows everyone. The nearest man to it was Martin's Leonard Lemons, number 5.
Well, Martin has been content just to rush 3. They know that Arlington wants to throw the football. They're dropping their coverage back. They just have not run any short to intermediate routes off of that. Even though Sims has had time to throw, generally the protection by Martin has been good.
Yeah, Leonard Lemons was in nice position in the secondary. On 4th down, here's a punt by Cooper Hicks. It is still rolling, and some contact, and we're going to mark it close to midfield.
Well, really, neither offense has done much. What Arlington, their opportunity to move the football on their opening drive was in large part to penalties by Martin. So neither offense is showing that spark that we kind of thought we'd see tonight.
Martin sets up shop at the Colt 49. Chris Kraft, and Kraft tries the right side and gains a yard. Hit hard at that spot, maybe give him a couple of yards. It'll be 2nd and 8. Martin has won 8 of the last 10 games in this series. Here's Kraft again. Kraft, high load at the 42-yard line.
Yeah, textbook tackle by Richard Toney, the safety coming up. Well, go low and drive hard.
They're going to give him the 41. They need a couple of yards here on 3rd down. 3rd and 2. Mundell trying to get to the edge, and this is close. Mundell thrown out of bounds by Richard Toney.
A.J. Lopez, the defensive end, had a shot at Mundell and just couldn't quite bring him down.
Oh, that is close. It is 4th and needing about a foot. And the Warriors will go for it. Mundell bobbles a snap and is sacked. Over the top, here's Salyer.
You know, sometimes you get in a hurry and you just don't do the basic things. And first things first, you got to get that thing to you. And I think only a half a yard would be a no-brainer, but Arlington responds.
There's Salyer, the senior of 5'8", 160. So it goes over on downs. Arlington has it at its own 40. What kind of driver's ed teacher was Coach Keith?
Well, he read the newspaper and drank coffee and ate donuts while we drove around.
Had some good teams here at Arlington High.
Yeah, he's had some good teams everywhere he's coached.
Chris Sims. And number 29, Xander Benson. Now heads out to the left as Sims empties the backfield. Sims has 4 yards, stood up at the 44. Blackwell among 2 Martin Warriors on the tackle.
And he was pretty mischievous. I mean, he was sarcastic and, you know, he was fun to be around with. Well-liked coach, and obviously he's impacted a lot of guys in the Arlington for a long, long time.
Coach Keith on that Sam Houston, James Hyden coaching staff back in '73 that went to the semifinals. Sims bottled up, and Sims blasted down at the 38.
I'm just still amazed at the routes that are being run are just, they're not quick routes. They're routes that require time to develop. And, you know, Sims has had some time tonight, but Martin has figured it out pretty quickly and starting to put some pressure on him.
Yes, they have. They need to get to midfield. It's 3rd and 11. Xander Benson to the right of Sims. He'll stay in the block. Sims will throw. Overshoots his receiver, number 13, Rodney Lucky. And the Colts about to punt it away for the 3rd time here in the half.
Well, and Sims had to pick himself up. He got harassed and got hit as he threw that football. But that's a route that you would expect, a quick out route, and really had a little bit of separation on the receiver. It's just that didn't have quite the passing lane he needed to throw it accurately.
Jonathan Carter right there waiting the punt of Cooper Hicks on 4th down. No score. Again, Martin 3-0 in district. The Colts at 2-1. Stays in bounds, takes a right-hand turn at about the 33. And that's when Martin will have it for the 4th time in this half. Look at the Martin crowd on the east side here at Maverick Stadium. Martin opened up district play right here, defeating Lamar 39-8. Week 2, a win over North Crowley 57-0. And then the 64-7 beating of Sam Houston last week. From the 35. Mondell swings it out, caught, 40, first down 45, tripped up at the 47. Number 3, Dwayne Williams.
When Pierce Salyer tried to jump that route and just narrowly missed it. Number 2, the outside linebacker, he read it perfectly and just didn't quite get there in time.
Martin will celebrate its homecoming next week right here against Trimble Tech. First and 10 from the 46. 3 receivers wide left. Mondell, here's the toss. Kraft crosses midfield and gains yardage to the Arlington 49. Not Kraft, that's Jaden Miles. Miles, senior running back number 9. He will stay in. Kraft will come out, number 41.
Trying the power game, a quick pitch left side, and just had the offensive line moving that way, created a nice little opening.
Jaden Miles, one of 30 seniors. So Alonzo Banks in motion, number 11. 2nd and 5. It's dropped, picked up. Mondell at his own 49. Mondell taken down by Richard Toney. And a loss of yardage. He'll spot it right at the 49.
I don't think the snap was that bad. Maybe Mondell looked up a little bit too soon, but boy, if you drop it on the turf and then have to pick it up, play is pretty much blown up at that point.
Lost a couple of yards. 3rd and 7. Martin has punted twice and has given it up on downs. Cal Robinson, one of the 2 receivers to the left. Mondell looking left. He throws, it's batted down and almost intercepted at midfield off of the bat down.
Oh, what a play. Yeah, that's the number right there, 26. Bragg knocked it down and then almost caught it midair. Beautiful play.
Trevor Bragg and Antonio Franco there for the Colts. And another 4th down here for the Martin Warriors. They have it at the 49. Let's see, Mondell gonna kick as he scooted back about 3 extra yards. Inside the 20, it tumbles out of bounds at the Colts 17.
Well, that's the advantage of having your quarterback as the punter, is that little bit of doubt in the eyes of the defense. They have to play defense first, and he just tried to pooch it and did a pretty nice job inside the 20.
Is the team that scores first going to win it? It's a slugfest so far. Not the prettiest first half, but both teams in need of points.
Yeah, they're kind of playing between the 20s, and now that's been kind of squeezed in between the 30s. I mean, it's a great view from our point of view, but not much happening offensively.
All right, Chris Sims from the spread at his own 17. Martin showing a 3-man front. Handoff, this is Lucky. Lucky to the 25. About 8 yards on the first down gain.
Got a nice lead block by his wide receiver Brown to seal the corner for him, and he just kind of weaved his way to 9-yard pickup.
Offensive line anchored by sophomore Jacob Waller, number 71. 2nd down and close to 2 yards needed. Here's the sweep, and they've got him well tracked. Eli Lemons tossed out of bounds at about the 22.
Yeah, Arlington has had 0 luck running wide. That was very close to a horse collar tackle, but Martin avoided that.
Need about 5 here on 3rd down. Martin staying in that 3-man front. Third and a nickel. Sims fires. Caught at the 27, looking for running room, Odemara. And Odemara struggling to get close to the 30.
Well, it was a delayed blitz by the outside linebacker, Ed Jones, on the near side. And where he came from is where the pass went to.
Able to get the first down. Miles Kelly is the tight end on the left side for the Colts, junior. At 6'1" and 205. They scrimmage from the 29. Sims will head over the right side and stacked up at the 31. There for Martin, number 44, Ernest Cooper the fourth, sophomore, one of 6 for Coach Wager.
Just trying to establish some type of running effect, so perhaps opens up that passing game a little bit more for Arlington.
And now the Martin Warriors with a 4-man front on 2nd and 8. Motion, no flags. Sims twisting, turning, still on his feet, and goes down at the 34.
How he managed to stay up for as long as he did. There was plenty of action right at the line of scrimmage.
At nose tackle, that man in the middle defensively for Martin is Davion Trejo. He's 5'7" and 265, number 66.
They've run a lot of 3-4 defense. Now they're showing a 4-man, but oh. Yep.
Fast moving first half, no score. From the 34, the Colts facing 3rd and 5. Sims, left side, intended for Brown. Brown guarded by Christian Traylor, number 10. And it'll be punt time for the 4th occasion here for the Colts.
Brown a little late looking back. The pass was to the outside, and he had run past where the ball ended up landing. Perhaps an adjustment, he could have come back for it.
Arlington with 6 first downs so far. Jonathan Carter back deep for Martin. Cooper Hicks, pressure, and Hicks unloads. Carter gets away from it, hits an Arlington Colt in the back at the 45, and they recover. Number 26 was there, Trevor Bragg.
I think it hit Christian Traylor in the back, and
I couldn't tell at first.
I think it's been close a couple of times before on that punt. This time it does hit a Martin player. You've got to locate the football. You know that the ball is not going to go very far. It hasn't been punted so far, and you've just got to be heads up.
Well, Carter was trying to get away from it, then it hit Traylor, and Bragg was there to cover up for the Colts. They take over to Martin territory at the 46. Sims trying to get to the outside, and Sims stacked up at the 42. Give him 4 yards on first down. Martin has to stay on defense. We've got 2:21 to go here in the first half. We're scoreless at UTA's Maverick Stadium. Next week, Arlington will travel to North Crowley, then play Sam Houston here and close out the regular season on a Thursday at Lamar. From the 42, on 2nd down, Sims out to the left side for Charles Brown. Brown skates to the 40, nudged out of bounds by Placide Yongu-Sungu.
We've called Ed Jones's name quite a few times. He had an opportunity. He was looking in instead of looking out. He was actually in a pretty good position to influence that pass had he been able to locate the football.
Minute 48 to go in the half. Arlington on the march. They have it at the Martin 38. It's 3rd and 2. See if Rogers may get involved. Rogers breaks off the pattern. It's a pass play over the middle. Intended, and he hung on to it. Caught by Lucky. Thought he might have dropped it at first.
And those are the passes that I thought that we would see Arlington kind of adjust to after opening up, really trying to air it out. Those safe intermediate routes, quick hitting, just like the one you saw there.
From the Martin 33, 1st and 10. Chris Sims looking, throws a down and out pattern, caught. Charles Brown, yardage to the 20, and another first down. Of course, this drive set up by that punt that hit a Martin Warrior, and Trevor Bragg there to recover it. Arlington's 8th first down tonight.
Obviously, Arlington, not a lot of real estate to work with because they're now at the 20-yard line, but we're seeing the proficiency of those quick routes.
1st and 10 at the 20. Tied in on the left side is Miles Kelly. B.J. Rogers, and Rogers steps out of bounds at the 23. Mikel Carradine forcing him out of bounds. Loses 3 yards. Minute 11 left in the half.
Because of the collapsed field, it makes it much more difficult to run and throw the football.
2nd and 13. Colts came in averaging close to 48 points a game. Martin yielding just 14 a contest. 2nd and 13, and the Colts going to use a timeout here at the 1:11. That is their 2nd timeout. Or was it Martin? If it's Martin, they've only got 1 left. Voice you hear in the background, longtime PA announcer Jeff Wolfskill, the Wolfman in year number 28. One of the best all time.
Yeah, he was doing the PA when I was also doing the PA once upon a time, and boy, he has certainly got the longevity in that department.
Indicating that, let's see, Martin has 1 left, the Colts have 2.
Yeah, I think that had to be against Martin.
All ones remaining here clockwise in the first half. Martin just 1 first down. Hard to believe, isn't it? Just 1. A lot of flags in the first quarter. A lot of punts combined in the first quarter. The first half, we've had 8 combined punts here in the half. From the 23, 2nd and 13. Sims. Flush from the pocket, scrambles, 20. Sims sidesteps the defender, but able to get to the 19. Couldn't run away from Maurice Blackwell.
He made something out of absolutely nothing as he weaved his way through. It looked like he was going to be pinned a couple of times for a loss.
Clock moving, 48 seconds remaining in the half. Arlington has it at the 19. It's 3rd and 9. They need to get to the 10-yard line. Sims will run it. 15. Sims to the 8. Or to the 12, rather. Sims to the 12, going to leave them a couple of yards shy. 20 seconds, clock still moving, 18. Maybe setting up, see what they could do with Cooper Hicks. 8 seconds, line of scrimmage is the 12. They need a couple of yards. 1 second, 2 seconds, and they'll stop the clock with 2 seconds. And I believe we would see Cooper Hicks. I mean, you would try to get 3 here. And there is number 21. He'll have an angle a little bit to the left. Be about a 29-yarder. It started from the Martin 46 following that turnover on the punt. And the Colts will rely on the leg of Cooper Hicks to try to get points to the junior. A 29-yard effort, little angle to the left. Chris Sims is the holder. From 29 yards. Good snap, good hold. It is up. It is good. Cooper Hicks and the Colts will take a 3-point lead into the locker room. Intermission here At UTA's Maverick Stadium, our halftime score, the Arlington Colts 3, the Martin Warriors nothing. A look at the first half stats, a season low for both teams numbers-wise all the way across. Martin just 1 first down, 29 yards on the ground, 11 up top, 1 of 4 in passing, punted 3 times, they fumbled once, and penalized 3 times for 38 yards. The Colts, not much better, 7 first downs, 23 yards of rushing, 80 yards total. Chris Sims, 8 of 17. Arlington punted 3 times. They had 1 fumble and were flagged 3 times for 20 yards. Jim, this just has to improve here in the second half.
Yeah, it does. And like I said, I didn't know what to expect, but I don't think I expected this. And I don't know what kind of adjustments that the coaches will be making at halftime. They just need to get back to fundamental football. They're not playing very clean on either side of the ball. And hopefully the second half is a little bit better played than the first.
Just 40 total yards for Martin, 103 for the Colts. Arlington getting on the board on a 29-yard field goal from Cooper Hicks. Martin will receive the second half kickoff. We're just about set to go, and back with the second half right after this. And we're just about set to go here in half number 2. The Arlington Colts will kick off. Martin will receive and defend the south goal to our right. A 3-0 Arlington lead. Cooper Hicks has it teed up middle deep for Martin. Is Jonathan Carter, number 88. Bounces and picked up at the 24. This is number 5, Leonard Lemons. Lemons crosses a 45 and brings it out close to the 47.
I kind of sensed that there would be a good run back and Martin would have outstanding starting position. Now, can they get their offense on track? They have struggled in the first half, but in really good position in the second.
There's the baby powder launched from the student section at Martin High. If there's no wind, it may take a while to clear out. But you can tell the wind is out of the south. A cold front just came in. Martin just 29 yards of rushing, 11 yards of passing. In the first half, they came in averaging 232 yards of rushing. And again, they haven't been 4-0 in district play since 2015. Arlington right now with a shutout. Here's the keeper, Mundell, runs to the 49. We have a takedown on the outside, no flag, as both players carried out their blocks.
Yeah, play to the whistle. They definitely did that time.
Jahari Rogers one-on-one with Ryan Wallace. He's wide left. It's a gain of 2, second down 8. Mundell has Dwayne Williams now in the backfield. Here's Mundell to Williams. 45, Williams to the 40, and a first down.
I know it's only 2 plays, but you can see the crispness in just those 2 plays, just fundamentally sound on both of them. Kind of what we expect to see the rest of this half.
Chris Kraft now back in as the running back, number 41. Kraft had 5 carries for 20 yards in the first half. And here he is to the outside. Kraft, 35, close to a first down, and taken out of bounds at that point by Trevor Bragg. And it is enough for a Martin first down.
Well, tight end Ryan Wallace, number 8, didn't do a lot, but he did just enough to seal the edge. That's what you want a tight end to do.
Martin just 1 first down in the first half. They've already doubled up on that number. Here's Kraft to the right of Mundell. Here is Kraft trying to get to the outside, tripped up, and here comes the support. Number 11 in there, Damari Turner. Had some help from the outside. They mark it at the 28.
Tried to cut it upfield, Kraft did, and just no place to go and strung out. And plenty of green jerseys to collaborate on that one.
Gain of a yard. 2nd and 9. Play action over the middle. It is intended for number 13 at the 9-yard line. That's Cal Robinson, and will have defensive pass interference assessed to the Colts.
Well, the penalty came upfield, so it seems to me that would be more of in the flag on a holding instead of pass interference.
Well, you may be.
Or, legal block. It wasn't at the point of the pass, but it was further up towards the line of scrimmage.
From the point of, go back to the line of scrimmage, and it's going to place it inside the 15.
Yeah, illegal use of the hand, so it's still a 15-yarder. It serves the same purpose.
At the 12. That's where they place it. 1st and 10, Martin at the Colt 12.
Both teams penalized 3 times in the first half, and they were significant.
Trying to take the lead here. The keeper, Mundell. Mundell rides it out to the 5. At the 5, that's Pierce Salyer on the takedown.
And a really nice sleight of hands. Chris Kraft really played out that option well. He ran to the right side. Quarterback ran to the near side.
2 tight ends. It's 2nd down and needing 3. Mondell races to the 3, to the 2, to the 1. And Mondell and the Martin Warriors have taken the lead on the scamper by Zach Mondell. That is his 12th rushing touchdown. Came in with 442 yards of rushing. And the PAT is good, and the Martin Warriors take the lead. 9:23 left in the 3rd quarter, and the lead change, the Martin Warriors on top, 7-3. On a Zach Mundell 5-yard lead, the Martin Warriors on top, 7-3. Callum Davidson on the Warrior kickoff. It's a spinner and a fair catch indicated inside the 10 by Jahari Rogers. And a little back and forth talk between Rogers and Dwayne Williams. So they'll mark it at the 25 on the fair catch, the new rule which went into effect last year. Well, Jim, this Arlington offensive line that averages 270, they've got to give some running room at times to B.J. Rogers. Well, can't be all passes.
Well, that's true, but Hicks has had the time, Sims has had the time to throw, and still the 3-4 defense by Martin.
Here's a draw play to Rogers. Rogers loses it. It's scooped up. Again, it changes hands and recovered by Martin's number 21, Travell Johnson. A huge turnover inside the 10-yard line. Johnson had it. He kept it kind of batted forward and able to get it again.
Yeah, many times you see instead of just falling on it, you try to pick it up and it doesn't result in a recovery. But well, Martin has come out with a little bit of fire in their belly. They started with great field position on their opening drive and obviously outstanding position here.
They take over at the Arlington 2. Mondell, here's the toss to Kraft. Kraft fighting for the double stripe. Gonna rule him down at the 1-foot line.
I don't know what the halftime talk was. I'm not sure if Bob Wager lit into him or they just realized how important this game was considering all the circumstances.
Mondell, same play. Kraft, stop at the 3. Number 54 making contact, Antonio Franco.
Well, this could be a really important stand for Arlington High. They have just done a nice job on the first 2 downs. They could make a huge statement right here on 3rd down.
3rd and goal from the 3. Martin has just taken the lead at 7-3. This following a Colt turnover. They're going to send Carter and Robinson wide right on 3rd and goal. Now a final check and a timeout taken as Martin prepares to line up at 3rd and goal. Martin will end the regular season on a Thursday night right here against the Bowie Volunteers. Bowie this week in district play at Trimble Tech. The Volunteers and Martin both undefeated at 3-0 as Coach Bob Wager and his staff. Brief talk to the offense. Here's the O-line coach. Carlos Rodriguez is the Martin center. So the play has been called. There's Kraft and the rest of the Martin offense. Ryan Wallace in as a receiver. They empty the backfield. Mondell, a handoff on the sweep to Dwayne Williams, and Williams is denied.
Well, Damari Turner, the safety, doing what you would expect a safety to do, just came up and blew up that play big time. Well, that's about as good a play as you'll see from your safety.
It's 4th and goal. Here's the hurry-up offense on 4th down. Direct snap. Touchdown, Martin. Julian Johnson from the Wildcat.
A little trickery, too. It looked like Martin was going to run off and maybe set up a field goal. They came and hustled back offensively. Quick snap.
And going for 2 and denied. Thrown down Antonio Franco as he was able to get to number 42, Julian Johnson, as Martin elected to go for 2. They lead now by 10 at 13-3. Jahari Rogers, number 4, Michael Young, number 83, awaiting the Martin kickoff. Whether they whether they're able to touch it's another question. Michael Young, one of the fastest receivers in the district, has been hampered by some injuries. Caleb Davidson will kick off. Will not get it to the goal line. Fielded at the 20 by one of the up men and then slammed down hard. A body slam at the 32-yard line. It was number 14 that got to it, Eli Lemons, and he paid for it.
And John, there's plenty of time still in this game. Still 7.5 minutes to go in the third, but there is a sense of urgency, I believe, from Arlington's offense after the turnover quickly in the second half. They need to try to settle down and get something going, move those chains, and try to methodically go down the field and score.
Michael Young, Charles Brown wide left on 1st and 10. That's Brown in motion, a high snap. He gets a handoff on the sweep. Charles Brown trying to get to the edge and runs out of bounds near the 34-yard line. Gain of about 3.
And Arlington has not had a lot of success running wide. It was just the speed of Brown that allowed him to get anything out of that.
Martin able to stretch it out and cover that outside. 2nd and 7, a 13-3 Martin lead. Sims has 2 receivers on either side. A head fake, he will keep it and lose a yard. Dropped behind the line by Adam Nix, number 76. Nix at 6'5" and 245, a senior.
Yeah, and the linebacker staying at home, too, allowed Hicks to make that play.
3rd down 8 for the Arlington offense. 103 yards total in the first half. Chris Sims, a bad snap in retreat. Sims and Miles Kelly able to fall on it inside the 10. A disaster on 3rd and 8. And the Colts will have to punt.
Well, there have been a few issues with that snap to Sims. And, boy, Sims didn't fall on the football. He just kind of overran it. And that could have really been a disaster for Arlington. But fortunately, the green and white pick it up.
I think they're shy of a blocker. E.J. Higgins, a sophomore, finally comes on, gets in position here, and now a stoppage of play. Play clock was down to 5, and the Colts going to have to take a timeout.
I think they're shell-shocked.
A Mundell run and a Julian Johnson run accounting for the touchdowns here early in the second half.
Well, it was mistakes by Martin in the opening quarter that led to Arlington opportunities that were not cashed in on. And Arlington has now made a couple of mistakes in a row that has given Martin new life. They've scored on their last 2 possessions, and it looks like they're going to get outstanding starting position for possession number 3.
Jonathan Carter back in return posture for Martin. He's standing at the Colt 40. Drive started from the 31, over the head, and a safety. As if it weren't bad enough following the timeout, a bad snap gives Martin a huge advantage here in the 3rd quarter. It is now a 15-3 Martin lead, and the Colts have to give it up. They've got to kick it right back to Martin. Martin has 3 receivers back at their own 40 and over the head in retreat mode, scooped up at the 23-yard line by Leonard Lemons. Lemons 30, 35, 40, has a lane, crosses midfield, and Lemons all the way down to the Colt 45. Colts say a fumble, but the officials say that he was down at the 45, and Martin will maintain possession.
Well, how many times do you see that? Cooper Hicks did his job. He had an outstanding place kick, but many times you overrun the coverage. It's what happened on that occasion by Arlington High, and once again Martin inside Colt territory. Were, now are not.
There's a 15-yard penalty. This is a post-possession penalty from the spot from which it occurred, which was near the 40-yard line.
Is there 2 penalties on that? Did they mark off a couple?
So much for a nice return. Martin pinned back now to 25. Martin penalized 38 yards in the first half. The Colts penalized 20 yards. 1st and 10. Intercepted and dropped in and out of the hands of Dario Conley.
Well, that was pick 6 all over it, and the play, exactly the play that Arlington High needed.
So a knockdown on 1st and 10. Martin on top, 15-3, following the safety just moments ago. 2nd and 10. Cal Robinson among 3 receivers to the near side. Now they're going to move around Ryan Wallace. Zach Mondell. He will give it to Banks, Alonzo Banks. Banks shy of the 30. Banks, a senior. Mondell, quite a year as he took over that spot as a sophomore last year. Passed for over 1,200 yards and 6 touchdowns. Came into tonight's game with a completion rate of 59% and 740 yards passing. 3rd and 7 from the Martin 27. Mondell throws on the run, And a marker dropped at the 32-yard line. The intended receiver, Ryan Wallace. Wallace guarded by Caleb Tobias.
And I think that Martin may have gotten away with, it looked like Dwayne Williams, number 3, was moving towards the line of scrimmage before the snap. No call there.
We'll step aside. An injured Colt down at the 27-yard line. Martin on top, 15-3. The injured Colt being escorted to the locker room, Pierce Salyer. And Jim, it appears to be the left arm. Not good. But the inflatable cast brought out immediately. One of Arlington's best tacklers.
They got a lot of nice care out there. They were very cautious and hope the best for the young man.
All right, Martin facing a 3rd and 7 from their own 28, or 4th and 7. Michael Young back deep. Martin on 4th down. Good punt. Excellent punt. Hits at the Arlington 26. Goes backwards. And hits a defender for the Warriors in the leg at the 35.
The punt was down at the 36-yard line.
Well, mistakes again cost Martin an opportunity to get a little bit of separation, and now Arlington with decent field position. They've struggled. They've had a couple of turnovers in a row. Now offensively, they need to get on track.
They're going to spot it at the 36.
Really open the game, wide open, full throttle. A lot of long passes.
3rd possession here in the 3rd quarter. We're halfway through the 3rd quarter. Here's a screen pass to Charles Brown. Nothing. Outnumbered 4-1, leading the surge. Travell Johnson, number 21. Also there, Placide Yungusungu.
No gain on the play.
You usually see that pass when you have trips over there, so your other 2 wide receivers can act as blockers. That was kind of all alone.
No gain, 2nd and a dime. DJ Rogers has been held in check tonight. The running game just not there. Here's a pass caught at the 43 and dropped. Brown had coverage from Travell Johnson. Johnson just a sophomore.
And another flag on the play. This one at the line of scrimmage.
Martin will wave off the ineligible receiver, which sets up 3rd and 10. Well, the Martin defense has the Colts on their heels at the 36, 3rd and 10. Arlington trailing 15-3. 37th meeting all time between these two. Now Charles Brown kind of unsure where to line up. Rodney Lucky, he's not sure either.
Yeah, Arlington offensively has been confused, I think, a lot tonight.
Michael Young, the inside receiver, number 83. Play clock down to 4. Unorganized offense, going to have to take a timeout. 4:31 left here in the 3rd. Well, this may or may not be the last game we ever televise at Maverick Stadium.
Well, you need to step aside for a minute and let me do a little bit of the talking. I've got to say this has been a pretty busy summer for my broadcast partner of about 35 years, Mr. John Nelson. Ladies and gentlemen, he is the voice of Arlington sports, without a doubt. And my congratulations from all of us to John. He was inducted into the Arlington Athletics Hall of Honor Foundation this summer. Arlington High School also honored John. A nice article that you need to really pick up I had the opportunity to chip in on that. But, guys, he's been around a long time, and nobody does it better. He is just absolutely the best at what he does. And congratulations, my dear friend.
Thank you, Jimmy. You took that picture in Hawaii. Thank you very much. And Martin on the sack as they bury the Colt quarterback at the 28.
Well, I first met you when you were doing Fort Worth Wings hockey games, and then when I was doing public address at Wildman Stadium, and we shared a booth that was about 3 foot wide.
Yeah,
and boy, those were some interesting times.
Not much countertop, but it was a game that mattered, wasn't it?
But John, you've broadcasted a lot of great athletes in Arlington, and I'm just so proud to call you my friend.
Thanks, Jim Staples. 4th and 17. Colts are going to have to punt it away. Hicks unloads. That's Jonathan Carter, brings it in. Carter sheds one, and Carter goes down at the 42. Number 70. Downfield for the Colts. Samson Croucher. But if this is the last game at Maverick Stadium, Jim, it brings to a close quite a history. This is the ESPN's first televised football game ever was here. September of 1980, North Texas State and UTA.
Brought in some extra bleachers for that, and yeah, obviously this is a lot of fond memories here, going to school here, being a graduate of here, watching a lot of football games here, not only collegiately but high school, so a lot of fond memories.
A lot of great playoff games from the city schools. Here's the toss. That's Chris Kraft upended at the 43. But I think of those Eddie Peach teams and some of the Bill Keats teams, Mike O'Brien, Ken Oz, all the great coaches, those playoff games down through the years here. More of a history for the Arlington schools and UTA football because they dropped the program in '85. But
well, John, I've been your co-pilot for a lot of these games, and I tell you what, we have done some dandies over the years. We have seen some just outstanding players and some outstanding teams and just a lot of great memories.
2nd and 11. Kraft cuts it back, is outnumbered and thrown down at the 45. Now, did you ever do PA at the old Memorial Stadium?
I didn't. Never did any PA there.
Lamar played the last game at the old Memorial Stadium, 1973.
Now, this is the kind of game that when we were doing UTA basketball games, it would lend itself to get into the restaurant review the way this thing is going. We used to do a lot of those on the road.
Well, why not continue? Have you tried the new Tipsy Oak Barbecue downtown?
As a matter of fact, I did just the other day. Another penalty at midfield.
They'll sort it out. Again, the official referee's Jim Davis. He's been busy.
There's been a lot of those too. Unsportsmanlike conduct, personal foul. This is one of those games that both teams are going to look back and want to just kind of forget, I think. You know, it's just one game and still it's yet to be decided. And a lot still at stake in this, but it's just not been a very well played game from start to finish, and there's not really been any flashes of consistency in this one. So hopefully both of these teams can finish strong.
Ryan Wallace, number 8, brings in the play, relays it to Zach Mundell. On 3rd down, here's a pass out on the right flat. It's caught. Crossing midfield is Dwayne Williams. Now, there is talk, Jim, if this school bond package passes in November, the 3rd field will be the expansion of Martin High School. That football field at Martin would be the city's 3rd stadium. There's also talk of Globe Life Park hosting a handful of games when it becomes fit.
Yeah, I'm okay for it hosting a little bit. I'm not too crazy about high schools playing on college campuses. I mean, I would prefer that they build one over at Martin.
Screen pass, running room, 35. inside the 30. Ryan Wallace, and Wallace taken down by Damari Turner.
Well, and Ryan Wallace is being rewarded. That previous pass play, he was the one that provided the block, that provided Robinson an opportunity, and now he gets a chance to catch the football.
They'll spot it at the 26, but there's all kinds of possibilities for a third high school stadium in the city. Martin could possibly play with Seguin at Martin's home field. Running room, that's the receiver Jonathan Carter. Carter shoved back, but his forward progress will mark it at about the 22-yard line. If everything passes, Lamar and Arlington would play at Cravens.
Well, I don't think there's anything like playing on a high school campus, and I think it particularly is advantageous, or it gives it a little bit more of an allure if it is at your campus. Like Lamar, that would be their home field. Arlington would have to kind of travel there, so it's not as big a deal. But still, high school, play it at the high school campuses.
2nd and 6. Mondell looking for a white jersey. Throws it back against the green. It is tipped. Trying to get it to Taylor, or Banks, number 11.
Well, and he may be fortunate that that was deflected. I think it was Conley that got his hand on it, but that was in the air would have been in the air for a long time, and could have been poor results if Conley not hit it.
3rd and about 6 at the Colt 23. We were talking down on the field. We went out for pregame warm-ups about 5:30 about the game we did when Eddie Peach knew that the wind was going to change at halftime, and Lamar just piled it on.
Yeah, they got the win the entire game.
Mondell pulled down at the 34.
And as you know, when a norther comes through in the winter here, that means that wind can be blowing 30, 35 miles an hour, and it was a definite advantage for the Vikings.
A.J. Lopez on the tackle. It'll set up 4th down and needing close to 20. Martin on top, 8 seconds left in the quarter. They're going to count it down to all zeros, 3 in the books, 1 to go as we head to the 4th. Martin leading Arlington 15-3. As we come back to begin the 4th quarter, Martin facing a 4th down and needing close to 20 in punt formation. It's one of those short end-over-end kicks. It goes out of bounds, trying to pin the Colts back inside the 10, but they'll mark off the angle, and it'll be closer to the 25.
Yeah, that punt was influenced by Antonio Franco, the Colts linebacker, that caused somewhat of a shank.
Well, if the Colts have an offense, they need to show it here in the 4th quarter, trailing 15-3. Spotted at the 19-yard line.
Yeah, they need to be thinking 10-yard increments. I mean, there's still a quarter to play, and it's a 2-possession game.
And they've used 2 timeouts.
Yeah.
Handoff coming left and nothing. Number 29, Xander Benson wrapped up.
Now they burned the timeouts because of just, again, John, confusion offensively. Clearly, Martin has made some defensive adjustments that have made it a little more difficult to pass the football downfield.
2nd and 10, 3 receivers wide right. Benson will stay in as a running back. Here's the sweep. Couple of yards at the most, running out of bounds. Leslie Otamara. Gain of 4 yards. It'll be 3rd and 6.
would think a passing down here.
Martin trying to go to 6-1 and 4-0 in the district. From the 23, from the spread, here's Sims. Looking, Sims will spin down hard at the 20-yard line, wrapped up quickly by number 64, Cooper Evans.
And the pressure that has been on him has been with a three-man rush, and Sims just didn't really have a chance to look at his second and third receivers, and he has had some success on pulling that football down and trying to run with it. And another late flag comes in well after the play.
Yeah, that'll pin the Colts back even further here on 4th down. Unsportsmanlike conduct committed by the Colts.
How many of those have we had in the game by both teams? Personal foul and unsportsmanlike conduct. There's been a bunch.
Martin going to get the ball. They may get it at the 40. That's exactly where Jonathan Carter's standing. So that drive comes to a halt that started at the 19. From the zone end zone. Hicks, high snap, look out, pressure from the outside. Carter secures it at the 40. Carter to the 29. Nice return of 11 yards for Jonathan Carter and the Martin Warriors.
That snap sailed high, which put a little pressure on the punter, and Martin is maybe 29 yards away from a knockout blow here in the 4th quarter.
2 touchdown runs, a couple of punts, and the possession starts at the Colt 29. Tied in on the right side, Alonzo Banks. Here's the toss, right side, Ryan Wallace. Wallace plows to the 25. Or not Wallace, number 9, Jaden Miles. Miles, he stays in. Miles, a senior.
Ideally, Martin wants to chew as much clock as possible. Obviously in a very, very good position here. Great field position. Clock winding down. Got 5 yards on the first down carry.
Jaden Miles to the right of Mondell. 2nd down and a long 5. Mondell still on his feet. Fights for yardage to the 20.
That's great 2nd and 3rd effort. He never really was committed to running the football straight ahead, and somehow it managed to turn out pretty well for him.
Well, you're right, Jim. They're going for the knockout punch here. 9:10 to go in the game. 3rd and needing just 2 yards. Taking as much time as they need. Banks now in the backfield. Over left guard. Should be enough for a first down. Jaden Miles thrown back. But his forward progress appears to be inside the 19, and that is a first down. 1st and 10, Warriors from the Colt 19. Martin last year finished 5-6 overall. A win tonight gives them 6. Came in averaging 44 points. Miles stood up at about the 16.
Boy, just grinded out. There's not been a lot of big plays on either side tonight.
Charles Brown caught a pass here earlier this year for 99 yards. He was in the record books. But big plays have been vacant tonight.
Yeah, for sure. There's just been lack of consistency for both teams. There's been mistakes, and as we've illustrated, lots of big penalties.
Mondale caught, touchdown, number 11, Alonzo Banks. Mondale with a strike. His 9th touchdown pass of the year.
It may have surprised Arlington a little bit, but just actually a perfect play action. Little post route to the middle of the field and a perfect strike.
And the PAT, and now a timeout or a stoppage of play.
Arlington could very, very well be on their way to their 2nd consecutive district loss and put them a little bit behind the 8 ball going forward.
5 plays, 29 yards. And the Warriors going for 2 on the sweep and denied. So it'll stay 21-3. Martin, 7 first downs this half. The Colts with a goose egg. 21-3, Martin on top. Callum Davidson, number 27, has it teed up for the Martin Warriors. Michael Young back deep for the Colts. He's one of the 2 men back deep, standing at the 5. Deep kickoff gathered in at the 7. Jahari Rogers, marker dropped. Jahari Rogers out of bounds as he crosses the 15.
Martin's coverage was not all that great. Another flag down, a couple of flags on the return, but Rogers almost had enough real estate to make that edge, but we'll see if this is going to stand where it is or not.
A lot of times you see a push in the back or a block in the back on a kickoff return.
Yeah, you almost see that more times than not.
2 flags were dropped. So from where the block occurred, it'll be half the distance.
I think Scott Peach is going to find out a lot about his team here. You know, it's not over, but they're pinned back, and this is going to be a real response type series here, I think, to see how they react.
Coming off a loss to Bowie last week. It's the 7-yard line. That's where they spotted. Trailing 21-3. Chris Sims. DJ Rogers. Rogers over the right side to the 12. Colts slow to get up for 73.
A nice start to the drive, picking up 6.
Under 7 minutes. Colts in danger of falling to 2-2 in district on 2nd down. Rogers slips down, made contact about the 13-yard line.
And this has kind of been what Arlington has done. They've run a couple of times and then gotten themselves in obvious passing situations, whereas to start the game, they came out throwing the football. They've really not gone to that consistently, except in obvious passing situations.
Got to mark it at the 11. They need about 7, 3rd down. Miles Kelly, kind of a wing back. And
timeout Arlington.
Colts with a timeout with 6:12 to play. Martin on top, 21-3. 3rd down and 6. Arlington now out of timeouts. Ball at the 11-yard line. There's Charles Brown wide left. He's to the near side. He's joined by Leslie Odemaro. From the 11 on 3rd down, it's the keeper. Sims, 20, out to the 22-yard line and a 1st down.
I was really hoping we'd see that play a little bit more because Sims has done that pretty effectively tonight. When he's run, after a little delay, he's usually picked up good yardage.
Martin making some defensive changes. Right now showing a 3-4-4. No one in the backfield. Sims from the 22-yard line will run 25. Fights off one, goes down at the 29. Quick 7 yards for the Arlington junior.
Yeah, and again, because of the deep routes, it kind of cleared out that middle. And once he knew he couldn't unload, he ran the football. Now running the offense similar to how they started the game.
Handoff on the sweep. Martin right there. Rodney Lucky. Bottled up quickly, no gain at all. Seguin with a homecoming contest tonight, entertaining Joshua. Lamar could leapfrog the Colts here in the standings if they win their game tonight, and they should. Vikings playing Fort Worth Pascal at Farrington Field. 3rd down on the quarterback draw. Sims to the 31-yard line. It's going to be a yard short. Clock moving. 4:10 left in the game.
They got call Sims' number again.
Trailing by 18, about to go to 5-2 on the year. Sims, same play, has the 1st down, 35-40. Sims, 45, crosses midfield, longest run of the night. And Sims all the way down to the 46.
Yeah, Martin sold out defensively, and if they didn't make the stop in the backfield, that is what you can expect to see. Really stacked the line of scrimmage defensively, and it didn't pay off for him.
Again, the Colts out of timeouts. If it's a running play, Martin will try to keep the player in bounds. Milk that clock. Sims, and a nice catch from Odemaro. Tossed out of bounds.
How can they say still wind the clock on that?
They can't.
Well, I mean, yeah, he did. It's still running. Am I missing something here?
Out of bounds. And
well, the initial contact was made while he was still in bounds, so he didn't go out on his own power.
well, no sense of urgency here, under 3 minutes. It's a keeper, Sims. They'll let him have that all night. Martin's going to win the game. Sims goes to the 36. Martin about to go to 4-0. It's the first time the Warriors will have been 4-0 in district since 2015. Maybe a team to reckon with here in the playoffs. Always a battle. You can throw out some of the offensive stats when these two teams meet. Colts won last year by 7. From the 36, 1st and 10. Chris Sims looking deep. Everyone covered on the run. Has it caught. Throws. intended at the 17-yard line for Charles Brown.
It would have been nice if Brown could have helped his quarterback out a little bit. Sims bought a little time, rolling to his right, had to throw across his body, and really that's a dangerous pass, but he got a heck of a lot on that.
There you can see the taillights here at UTA, the parking lot about to empty out. Many of the Martin fans have stayed. It's Pleasant Ridge against Park Row tonight. Fumble. Brown had it, trying to reel it back in, still loose. It's still loose.
Wow.
A big pile up at the 43.
Nobody wants it.
Sims ends up with it.
Pigskin was a little slippery.
As has the offense been tonight. Minute 42, there's the parking lot, a lot of taillights leaving. Colts will fall to 2-2. Martin will go to 4-0 in district. From the 43, third and about 16. Sims to the near side, caught at the 23. Odemaro on the receiving end.
Well, that was just a beautiful play. Nice time by Sims. Great route. Cut it off nicely. A little square out by Odemaro, and maybe the biggest play the Colts have had tonight.
Yeah, I think you're right. Spotted at the 24. Minute 21 to play. Two receivers on either side for junior Chris Sims, and now a timeout taken by Martin. That's their last. It comes with a minute 21 to play. Sims with a final check. And here they come. Sims will throw, got his receiver open at the 20. That's Charles Brown. Brown tied up by number 19, Placide Jungo Sungu. Gain of close to 7. 75 seconds left to play. It was 3-0 Colts at halftime. Their only score coming on a 29-yard field goal by Cooper Hicks. On the 21, Sims going end zone and overshoots everyone, trying to get a Charles Brown. Stops the clock with 1:11 to play.
Well, and Arlington has really had self-inflicted wounds that has permitted Martin to put up their 21 points. I mean, a case could be made that this could still be a 3-0 game, but it is what it is, and Martin took advantage of the opportunities.
Third and close to 7. Sims not going to come close.
Tell you what, he's a tough runner, though. He just doesn't go down very easily.
Very upset, but Martin had him quarantined.
I mean, 5'11", 175, but man, he's got some guts.
It's been all Martin sports-wise this year against Arlington. They won both volleyball matches. They're about to win the football game here in October. Fourth down and needing a couple of yards. Fourth and a long 2. Sims and goes down at the 22. Hit hard as it goes over on downs. Martin beginning to celebrate and sensing victory here tonight.
I think Sims had a crease. He was just maybe a little late tucking that football and running with it. And it has been a long night for the quarterback and his offensive unit.
Zach Mondell with a rushing touchdown, a touchdown pass to Banks, and Julian Johnson with a touchdown run, the scoring in the second half for Martin, and they also collected a safety. A genuflect. A drop to the knee by Zach Mundell, and that will do it. Bob Wager and the Martin Warriors have now won 9 of the last 11 games in this series. Martin now 6-1, 4-0 in district play. The Colts fall to 5-2, 2-2 in District 4, 6A. Martin wins it 21-3. Your final thoughts?
Well, John, tomorrow when they look at the films on Saturday, they're going to want to put this one behind them, because going forward, this was just not a well-played football game by either team. But Martin obviously happy with the win, and Arlington licking their chops now. They've lost 2 in a row and really kind of on the outside looking in the district race.
Arlington will play North Crowley next week. Martin has a date with Trimble Tech. So the Martin Warriors win it 21-3. Our thanks to executive producer Spence, his crew, Vern Kurt, Anna Hernandez, our statistician Wayne Shulock. For Jim Staples, this is John Nelson turning out the lights at Maverick Stadium.